How you doing, Dr. Lowe?
Doing very well, Khaled. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you. I know you're busy, so got a ton of questions to ask. You ready? You okay?
Absolutely. Ready as
Uh,
ever.
okay, let me just turn this off. Okay. When will the first jab go into 5 to 11-year-old in Peel?
So we're really excited to be able to start vaccinating our 5 to 11s as early as tomorrow. We've just received the vaccine, and we know that some of our primary care and pharmacy partners, once it's received, they'll start with their patients on a limited basis tomorrow morning. And then in our mass clinics, we'll be starting. The first appointments have already been fully booked, but we'll be starting on Friday in the broader mass community clinics as well. So pretty much by the end of this week, we'll be starting our journey together to make sure that we get our little ones protected.
Awesome. Will you be going directly into the schools to vaccinate kids in Peel?
So yeah, there's some question around what is meant by school clinics. So these are clinics that are usually after hours. So we're not doing it during school hours. It'll be because we want this to be like a family, experience. We recognize that children have questions. Children rely on support from mom and dad. I've got kids in this age group myself, and so we're trying to make sure that the school clinics, they'll be after hours and they'll be really family oriented, as will all of our clinics be. Really, just to make sure that it's a comfortable and safe experience for our children.
Okay. And in regards to portals to book appointments, I know with kind of the older, like us getting booked, we had a couple of portals to go through. Will it just be through the Ontario portal that they can book the appointment?
Absolutely. And so basically people need to go in with their children's OHIP card number, put that in, and then it will show where pediatric availability is. For clinics in Peel, the Ontario booking system will make it very clear. It says pediatric clinic,
Okay.
and how you know you'll be getting, because it is a different dose. It's a slightly smaller dose, and that is basically to ensure that the vaccine is still effective, while also limiting, the potential for the rare side effects that have been seen previously. It is worth noting that of those side effects, there have been nearly 3 million doses of vaccine delivered in the US already, and they haven't seen any myocarditis or pericarditis yet. So I think that's really reassuring.
Oh, so you're saying there hasn't been any side effects for kids or anything that they've.
Nothing that was seen in the approval, and then certainly now with 3 million doses having been delivered in the U.S., they're not seeing any signal at this point in time, which I think is something that should also reassure parents that this formulation is that the pediatric formulation has been optimally derived.
Okay, awesome. Will Peel Public Health implement proof of vaccination requirements for indoor sports facilities for children between 5 and 11?
No, not at this time. We're continuing to monitor what happens in the data. But I think ultimately the proof of vaccination requirement is a provincial regulation piece. So I think that would be the first place to see what questions would be having here. And from my indications and from what I've heard from the ministry at this time, they're not planning at this time to implement such proof of vaccination at the provincial level. We, of course, will continue to monitor our trends and data, and if necessary, take local action. But we're not seeing any indication of that being necessary at this point in time either.
Okay, awesome. This got brought up yesterday by the province. They asked them about multiple kids. If you have multiple kids, can they all go in at the same time?
Yeah, so unfortunately at this point in time, because of the way the provincial booking system is built, it is really an attempt to get, you have to book individual doses. That said, we do recognize for families, like if you happen to bring in another sibling along with, and you weren't able to get things there, we'll work as best we can to accommodate. I think it's just a matter of, I think, from what I understand, people have been able to get their kids booked together, and we'll continue to monitor and see how this goes over the next couple of weeks, because we do want to make sure that we have the right amount of time and the right amount of space for the kids to get their vaccines, in a comfortable manner as well, right? So it's we ask people to respect their appointments as much as they can, and we'll try to accommodate where we can, but it's a matter of booking individually for now.
Awesome. When can kids get their second shot?
So the provincial guidelines are saying that they'll get their second shot 8 weeks later, and so this is actually on the basis of what we saw even with the adult rollout in Canada, that a longer interval gives a stronger immune response. It also helps to minimize the possibility of some of those side effects. But if people do need to get it at a shorter interval, they can get a medical consultation and see if that's warranted, and it can be given as early as 3 weeks. It is important to note as we head to the holidays that even one dose of protection is super helpful for children, just in terms of, again, you're trying to make this virus less novel, so the immune system has one good look at it, at least with one dose on board. And that also, I think it's just a matter of the sooner you start, the sooner you'll get to full protection for your children and hopefully for your whole family if your kids are all in this age group.
Cool. I'm going to throw these at you fast. We've seen school outbreaks in Toronto, and they closed entire schools. Have we seen anything like this in Peel?
So one of the coolest things that we've seen is the power of vaccines amongst the secondary age population here in Peel. We've only had to date one small outbreak. I think it was under 5 cases, but we've only had one small outbreak in the secondary system. That's proof positive, I think, that the vaccines work. We have 80, I was just looking at the number, almost 85% or 84%, I think, of our 12 to 17s with 2 doses on board. So I think the biggest thing is the sooner we can get 5 to 11s vaccinated in large numbers as well, the sooner we can also preserve and ensure that they'll stay in person in school, because that's the best place for them to be, and reduce outbreaks and exposures, because the vast majority of outbreaks and exposures we've seen, I think 15 or 16 so far, have been in the elementary system.
Okay. Current supply in regards to vaccines for 5 to 11-year-olds, can every kid get one?
Yeah, so the Canadian government has procured enough vaccine for all children to receive their 2 doses, and my understanding is that all of that supply will be arriving in Canada over the coming weeks. Currently, we have enough to give our kids, all of our kids, their first dose at this point. So supply is not an issue with this part of the rollout.
Okay, awesome. And then let's just say if 90% of kids between 5 to 11 get their first and second dose, where are we in regards to this pandemic? Are we almost done?
So in addition to this being really important for our kids in terms of being protected individually against severe outcomes like inflammatory hospitalizations due to inflammatory syndromes and also long COVID, we do know that the school age 5 to 11 group is the last high contact group of susceptible individuals in our community. You think about what these kids are doing. They're in school, they've got after hours activities, they've got play dates, family and friends gatherings. Not many 1, 2, 3, or 4-year-olds are heading to birthday parties or hanging out at nightclubs or whatever the case is. So the reality is, once we get the 5 to 11, not many 5 to 11s are either, but once 5 to 11's done though, that essentially eliminates the last remaining high contact reservoir. So that's an added benefit for us in terms of getting us, to a really, really closer to the end of ending the acute phase of the pandemic.
Okay, awesome. There was a question that Dr. Bogosh got this morning, and he didn't want to answer it. Maybe you want to answer it. If a 10-year-old refuses to get a vaccine, can they actually refuse it?
Yeah, no, I mean, any vaccine has to be given with informed consent, right? And so
a 10-year-old?
Yeah, so even a 10-year-old, if they understand we are not forcing vaccines on people, but it is our strong recommendation and encouragement that children get it to protect themselves from those rare but severe outcomes, for them to preserve and give confidence in their interactions in schools and in gatherings and all those other pieces. But certainly if someone is refusing to get a vaccine, if it's just a 10-year-old on their own, we would encourage them, of course, to make the decision with their family, with their parents, to talk it through. But really, we're not. It's not a matter of if they refuse, they refuse. But we're really, really encouraging people. There's a lot of benefits to getting vaccinated. First and foremost, about protecting the kids. Secondly, about giving certainty in their interactions, limiting spread, and then finally, really for all of us, for them and for all of us, getting out of the acute phase of the pandemic. So there's lots of good reasons for our kids to get vaccinated and get protected.
Awesome. Some Toronto clinics are making the clinics more kid-friendly. Are you guys doing that at the Peel region?
100%. We've got swag. We've got longer appointments. We've got more space for families. As you know, we're also starting a bit of a Peel superhero campaign, and so they'll be given name tags that are, give them a superhero name, and all sorts of different colors. So it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, for kids to come and get vaccinated, and also just comfortable and safe for them as well.
Nice. One non-5T11 vaccination question is, when are the booster dose eligible? When is that going to be expanded to other people?
So the ministry is currently looking at the data. Again, because we had a very different rollout in Canada than in other countries, we actually lengthened the dose between the first and second interval, the interval between the first and second dose. It's clear clear based on our patterns in transmission that we still have pretty robust immunity even this late on. But of course, our provincial counterparts are constantly monitoring the data, and they will provide updates when it is appropriate for boosters to move down the age brackets.
Okay, awesome. Last question. Did you get to ride the Brampton Batman's Batmobile?
Well, there was a video that was as part of our pediatric launch for 5 to 11 that actually got a lot of attention. I think being able to participate in it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I think we've since retired the video because we really want our focus actually now to be on getting to our kids. The focus at this point in time is how do we get families and everyone on board with getting kids protected, and also, most importantly, moving towards just certainty for all of us in getting to the end of the acute phase of the pandemic.
Awesome. 20 questions in 10 minutes. I appreciate Dr. Lowe. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Great to chat, Khaled. Take care, all.
Take care. Bye.